Whoop. What's up, everybody? How we doing today? I'm Vinny. I'm back again. This is our first actual video, hopefully, that we're able to do. Sorry, my camera's a little whatever. It looks all weird on my screen. But anyways, welcome. Uh, I just want to make this video and share with everybody why I am trying to make this podcast a thing. Why I want to share my message, why I want to share my story with others, and why I think it'll help, or why I hope that it does, and what my mission is. So the entire reason I'm starting this podcast is to share my story in hopes that in hearing it might affect someone in a positive way. They might be able to learn from my experiences that I choose to share, and maybe it'll help them make a decision with that, which they may or may not be currently dealing with. Like maybe going through something and feel alone, but you don't really know like what to do, or like how to deal with it, or like whatever. And then all of a sudden you're listening to this blog slash podcast, and something you hear like clicks, and it's like, oh, hey, I'm going through that, and oh, it went like this for you. Oh, well, maybe it can go like that for me too. Or oh, maybe I won't make that choice. I was going to, but now I'm not. Or like something like that. But big experiences shared that I met that may or may not make you feel all kinds of emotions, and may at times be triggering for some, and may or may not be unbearable for others. The podcast does not glorify or condone any drug use or illegal criminal activities. This is not a try these things at home. If anything, I hope that these words be lessons of what choices not to do and versus what choice to make, because I'm not certified. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a drug and alcohol counselor. I ain't got no paperwork, no nothing like that. I just got my own experience and what I've been through. And when I have people on here from time to time who are willing to share their experiences, it'll be what they've been through. We don't speak upon the lives of others, because others' stories are not ours to tell. That's just a big thing that I'm a part of. If I say something about anybody, it'll be more so about them being involved in my story. So I'm trying to get my camera right here. There we go. Um, Sobriety was the motivator behind this podcast, and I guess if it wasn't the motivator behind the vlog of the podcast, I guess you could say addiction was, or the will to get sober, because today is February 17th, 2 o'clock exactly Central Standard Time. And I want to say that I am blessed to say I have been sober at least since October 30th. So I'm very blessed there. Um, I recently did 17 days in jail because I'm on probation, and I did have some hot UAs. And so back in November, I got sentenced because of those hot UAs, and my judge gave me 17 days, which I just served this last January. And now we're on to better things and sober things. So I appreciate everybody who is here and who watches, and who's tuning in. We're in this together. Ain't nobody can do sobriety alone. And it's not something that we can even begin to fathom to do alone. So I'm glad you guys are here. Let's see here. From time to time, I'll have different guests on here. Like I said, there'll be individuals who, in turn, will share the same vision and wishing that their story might help someone listening, or maybe we'll just entertain you for the duration of the time that you spend with us. With that being said, I might add, I appreciate it very much, because without my amazing support system of y'all tuning in, and my wonderful girlfriend that I have, and my father, who's been a great push and support as well, I don't really know where I'd be, and to include each of you listening right now as well, you might proceed to tell me about this podcast, Knives and Lives, and anyone who discovers it along their journey in life as well. So throughout the course of this last little while, and some moons ago, I've come to a conclusion, and my conclusion is that there are big things happening in the near future. So just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Alaska. I was born in Anchorage. I lived all around the United States. I'm 35. This year is my year. It's 35 and thrive, baby. Tell you that. The reason that the way that I came up with this initially, it all started with a playlist on Spotify that my lady and I have together, and it's called Knives and Lives, and it's like love songs and stuff, and little songs that we found that we thought the other one might like. And I want to say we have like 8 hours of music or 18 hours of music, maybe 13, something like that. I'm not really sure. But anyway, so I was sitting here thinking, I was like, yeah, I want to start a podcast, blah, blah, blah. Like I was 33 when I was thinking about all this. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to call it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I just want to share my story and hope that I help somebody, blah, blah, blah. Well, so then I thought, Knives in Lives, and put the N in there because, everybody's experienced a knife in their life at one point in time or another. And whether you think you have or not, you have. And any negativity is a knife. A situation that you went through that you didn't deserve to go through, that's a knife. The way that people mistreat you, that's a knife in your life. Sometimes the way that you act to others is a knife in their life, because I'll tell you, I've been a butcher knife in some people's lives, and I've been a samurai, and I've been a goddamn machete too. I've chopped souls up with my words. I'll say that because not everybody's a good person. I got a tattoo here. It says every sinner has a future. I'm a firm believer in that. We all sin. We all have negativity that we've either helped commit or committed ourselves. And so, if you're here today, we're here to help show that there is a better way to life, and there's a better way of getting things done. This last year has been a real complicating one for me because I'm on probation. I caught my first possession charge November of 2024. And I've been on probation since April of 25. And I wasn't taking it seriously at first. And then I decided to get serious about it when I flunked out of my treatment course. I mean, I did flunk out. I failed out because I overslept one too many times, and I missed one too many classes. So with that, I was like, dang, I had to wait another 3 months to get back on the list. It was like 2 months, I guess. But then I had to go back because I went twice a week for like 12 weeks or something like that, 24 sessions. And then I finished it, and I learned a lot. I learned that I learned that I am an addict, and I'll always be in recovery. And I did have an issue with my drug of choice, which was cocaine at the time. Hasn't always been my vice and my drug of choice, but in this situation and at this point in time in my life, it was. So I fell deep into it, being around it all the time, wanting to do it, thinking that half gram would last me and one other person a couple days was crazy. Thinking that it would even last me a day was crazy, personally. It's unfortunate to think that like I went through that and I allowed my influence upon others in said situations. Not gonna say I didn't stop it because I won't stop other people from choosing what they want to do, but at the same time, I'm no longer going to be an enabler of it. I'm making the choice to remove myself from people who do that stuff, and I'm choosing to reach out because if I was struggling, I know that there's somebody else struggling out there. Why not be that safe space for somebody who doesn't want to be around that all the time? Imagine being in that life and just wanting a way out and not knowing who to turn to, not knowing where to go, and just it's like when everybody you know is involved in the life, whether it's your substance of choice or their substance of choice, or well, maybe it's a different substance of choice, but there's still going to be a knife in your life if they're using and you continue to hang around. They're going to influence the not good decisions. They're going to influence you to make choices that you wouldn't normally make if you were around sober people, you know? So that right there is like, for me, like I want to be that for people. I want to be that safe space. You know, I got friends out here who hit the pipe and stick needles in their arms and, you know, smoke blues and whatever. And I don't want to see them die. I don't want to see them go down the way that I've seen so many of my homies go down before. With that, I'm not a know-it-all. I don't know everything about the world of drugs or what it is, and I haven't really been a part of the world in a very long time. So enough to really know what it is or what it was. You know, it's been a long time since then. So with that being said, you know, please understand that we're here to help. This is a message to the struggling addict, to the struggling alcoholic, because alcohol is an addiction in and of itself as well. Ooh, my eye itches. You know, if you're out there and you're struggling right now, and it doesn't matter what it is, I want you to know this is a safe space. You know, I'm not the most perfect person in the world, and nobody's perfect, because if we were, we'd be Jesus, right? You know, so from time to time, people slip, and it's a mistake. As long as we're honest with ourselves, well, that's all that matters. As long as we're honest with ourselves and we're honest with our higher power, whatever that might be, you know, I keep my prayers going up because blessings keep coming down. Or something I learned on my 17 days in, you know, is that, you know, if you apply the power and you apply the effort and you keep praying about it, eventually it'll work out. May not be the way you want it to, may not be a way that you see all the positivity in it, but I promise you there's positivity in there. And if it doesn't feel okay, it's not the end, because in the end everything will be okay, bro. You know. Yeah, so that's just the basics of what I wanted to share with y'all at first. A little bit about my background. Like I said, I just did 17 days in county jail out here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I'm on the right path. I'm on the sober path. We got about 109 days, 108 days clean now, and at least from narcotics, you know. So it's a really good path, and we're on the right way. And you can do it too, you know. It's hard, and it sucks, and it's kind of lonely. And when you feel like you don't have anybody, that can be hard too, and that can be triggering. But thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. This is the end of the first video, and I couldn't be happier with it, really. So one love. You know, and have a great rest of your day. Happy Tuesday, everybody.